placing bets as we speak. This is gonna take your brand to a whole new level. I think there's been some sort of confusion.
I like your spike face.
I love that.
I'm looking for my sister. She's
The wrestler in the back.
Wrecked. Absolutely wrecked.
Dear Lord.
That's fake Mandarin's dude.
Nice one, Helen.
Nice one, Helen. The last thing I do would be any of this.
I would literally pull every muscle in my body doing this.
Good
Easily.
Lord. And step on their back and they fall.
Wow,
Got it.
that's a dead man. Killed.
Oh my God, dear Lord. Dear Lord. Oh!
Bro. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. I have a really bad fear of heights.
And that's how you die.
Welcome back to new Rockstars. Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings has finally arrived in theaters. Thank the Lord Jesus. I love this boy. And with this new entry into the MCU catalog, we get a new hero and some new villains, and a return of a few old heroes and villains, and new forms of magic, dragons, cute little faceless chicken pigs with no, like literally it just looks like a walking butt. I love it. And on top of that, some of the best fight sequences that we've ever seen in the MCU, period. This is Inside Marvel, our after show for Marvel's latest cinematic release, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. My name is MT, and we're going to talk about some of the biggest revelations and burning questions left over from this magnificent film. And of course, I'm here today with my fellow Shang-Chi lover, Jessica Clemons. What's going on, Juice?
The faceless chicken butts. The faceless chicken butt pig.
Morris.
They write those things into scripts for me to buy it.
I know.
I was like, these aren't for kids. This is for a grown 27-year-old woman. I freaked out. I'm obsessed with it. The movie was great. The choreography was amazing. I am so excited for every single person in this movie. I can't wait to see what we're going to keep doing with them. And we just need to get into it. We just need to get
oh my God. Build-A-Bear, release the Morris Build-A-Bear right now.
They need to. Oh, they need to.
I need it.
Oh, they need to.
I need something to cuddle with, all right? But anyway, let's do a quick plot summary. Because for 1,000 years, Wenwu has been gaining power and influence through the use of his Ten Rings criminal organization and his mystically powered Ten Rings, who the organization is named after. And that is until he gets beat up on his first date in the woods and falls in love with a powerful fighter named Zhang Li from the mythical city of Ta Lo. That's how I met my ex. Not a great way to meet your ex with violence. Not a great way to start a relationship, gotta say. Wenwu puts his rings in a box and stops being a crime boss in exchange for being a dutiful husband and father to Shang-Chi and Jai Ling, because that's what you gotta do. Don't be a deadbeat dad. And after his love dies, which is very sad and a really sad part of the movie, Wenwu puts the rings back on and gets back to business because people gotta die. Okay, just gotta say that. If someone kills my wife, they're gonna die too. Anyway, he starts training his son to be an assassin and won't let his daughter play killer, so, she decides to learn on her own because she's a strong, independent woman, and we're all about that. And when he's ordered to perform his first assassination at the age of 14, he runs away with no plan to ever return. So, that's some brutal shit. 14, really?
Rightfully so. Hard age too. You're going through puberty.
Right?
Hard age too. You gotta kill your first person and also go through puberty. But this brings us to present day San Francisco, where Shang-Chi, who now goes by Sean, works as a valet with his best friend Katie. She doesn't know anything about his true past until they're ambushed on a bus by some thugs sent by Wenwu and led by Razor Fist. The target was a pendant worn by Shang-Chi, and he's on a mission to warn his sister, who has a matching set. Shang-Chi and Katie arrive in Macau, where they discover an underground live streaming fight club on the top floors of an abandoned building. Shang-Chi winds up fighting and losing to his sister Zhao Ling, who it turns out is running the whole thing. Death Dealer shows up with more of Wenwu's men and brings Shang-Chi, Zhao Ling, and Katie back to Wenwu's Ten Rings compound. It's here we learn that Wenwu is planning to find the hidden Ta Lo village now that he has the map. Thanks to his kids' matching pendants, he falsely believes Zhang Li is trapped behind a gate in Ta Lo, and his wife is calling for his help.
So sad. Literally so sad.
Little sidebar. This is great following the Doctor Strange episode of What If, because it's like heartbreak does make a villain. Heartbreak can easily make a villain. We see it here, and that's the emotional connection I needed to this movie.
Oh, that's a great connection. I love that connection. But yes, Shang-Chi wants to warn the people of Ta Lo of what's coming their way because he's a nice boy. And after running into Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3 and his chicken pig, Morris, the MVP, the hero of the film, he now has to get away to get there. And in Ta Lo, we meet Shang-Chi's aunt and prepare for Wenwu's arrival because he's about to do a lot of murder and killing. And Shang-Chi confesses that he did commit the assassination his father ordered. Ooh, and he clearly regrets it. Wonder Woman and his army arrive, and some soul suckers get loose from the mystical gate, and the Great Protector is awoken from her aquatic slumber to help fight off the Mega Soul Sucker, and Shang-Chi is able to channel the magic of Ta Lo and use the 10 rings to finally defeat the Mega Soul Sucker once and for all, because, you know, souls are supposed to be in the body. And Shang-Chi and Katie return to their life in San Francisco, only to be suddenly summoned by Wang via sling ring. Then we get the mid-credit scene, where we learn that Wang, Bruce Banner, and Captain Marvel have no idea what these rings are or where they come from, but they do learn that the rings are calling out to someone somewhere out there. Like, it's just a beacon for something. And then, of course, the post-credit scene, Jai Ling was supposed to break up the 10 Rings organization, but it turns out she wants to run the whole thing. Who could have saw that coming?
Yeah! We're gonna get into this.
Yo, it's nuts. It's literally nuts.
I'm screaming. I'm hollering. Well, this should have been like a 3-part Inside Marvel.
We have to, of course, remind you that our merch partners at Epic Hero Shop just dropped a shirt inspired by Shang-Chi. The shirt has a really cool design that will empower you to walk into any room with big warrior energy. And this is the 8th design in the latest Obsession line of collectible shirts by New Rockstars. And each shirt design is selected by the New Rockstars team to celebrate what we're obsessing over right now. And on the collar is a numbered shirt label to identify the collectible shirt as unique in this exclusive series. And this is now issue number 8. And once the shirt goes off the stock, that number will be forever retired from the latest Obsession lineup. So check out all the awesome gear and apparel, including the Shang-Chi latest Obsession shirt at newrockstarsmerch.com. But before we continue, we also want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for curious, creative folks. And Skillshare lets you explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and just get lost in creativity. And Skillshare offers classes designed for real life. Learn and grow with short classes that fit any schedule. And each class is a combination of video lessons and a class project. And it's curated specifically for learning, meaning that there are no ads and they are always launching new premium classes so that you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. They have classes and topics New Rockstars fans will absolutely enjoy, like animation, film, music, and freelancing. One of their classes that looks super dope is Productivity for Creatives, Build a System that Brings Out Your Best by Thomas Frank. He's a prolific musician and content creator, and his class goes over stuff like how to set up your physical and digital space to work for you, not against you. I definitely need that. I seriously do. Like, my room is a mess. I say, save me, Thomas Frank. The first 1,000 of our subscribers to click the link in the description will get a month free trial of Skillshare so that you can start exploring your creativity today. Do it. Skillshare. Learn something. So Jess, hit me with that first question.
Okay, what was the Mega Soul Sucker and where the hell did it come from? Everyone wants to know. We all need to go.
The Mega Soul Sucker. That is a good question.
That's my nickname. Don't wear it out.
We've now met another realm-destroying monster that Katie calls the Mega Soul Sucker. But what is this thing anyway? We do learn that through some wooden tableau exposition that the people of Ta Lo call this beast the Dweller in Darkness. And when I heard this, I was freaking out because, like, that is the deepest cut of all time. I didn't think I would ever see the Dweller in Darkness in the MCU. Because in the comics, the Dweller in Darkness is one of the Fear Lords, which are a group of demons who gain all their power from the fear of others. And they were first introduced in some Doctor Strange comics in the early 90s, which was a very dark time in comics. The Dweller in Darkness has been depicted in the comics with tentacles coming out of his face, similar to the character of Cthulhu. And in the film, the Dweller in Darkness has tentacles, and so do all of his flying minions, because this is the tentacle phase of the MCU. It was the Infinity Saga, now we're in the Tentacle Saga. Kevin talked to me last night, he called me and he told me this. But does this creature have anything to do with the other tentacled monster that we've seen in recent episodes of What If? And what realm did it come from? And does it have anything to do with the rumored appearance of Shuma Gorath in the upcoming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? And like, what is with Marvels and their tentacle monsters lately? Like, I don't understand.
I knew this was coming. I knew the day for tentacles was coming, and I feel like everyone should have saw this coming as well. I would really hope.
The Day of the Tentacle.
So, while watching the movie, I was like, there's so many connections to different movies in what we're watching currently that I'm like, which one is more like set in stone? I would love to think that this creature has something to do with the same world that we're seeing the tentacle monster in What If, but I still don't think this one is going to be as connected to Doctor Strange as what we just saw, because the Dweller in Darkness is from the Doctor Strange comics. So it's like, I think they're in two different realms. But if they are in the same realm, my bad. Like, my bad.
I'm gonna say something differently, and I think that they are they might not be the same type of beast, but I think that they are sort of like, you know, either cousins or neighbors from the same realm of like, the realm in between like the world in between dimensions is where I feel like these squid monsters are coming from.
When I saw the movie in theaters, I was like, what if this is in the same realm of where... Because in the comics we get Lumera, or I can't pronounce
Lemuria?
Lemuria, thank you. From the comics for the Deviants, but what if in the MCU they're coming from all different planes? They're not just coming from underwater. What if this is another portal to where the Deviants are, and this is our version of the Deviants?
In the Eternals trailer, those Deviants look very dragon-like.
These creatures don't look like they're creatures. They're straight creatures. In the comics, we're seeing them still like able to converse and talk, but this one, these are just monsters. So that's why I was like, this is giving the same vibe as that monster we saw in Shang-Chi.
I feel like there's some type of relation between these monsters and the What If monsters, but also the monster from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh, yes. If you
look at, if you rewatch Shang-Chi, like the soul sucking there's these rainbow colors coming out of it. And when the monster comes out in Guardians 2, there's all these rainbow mist and all this stuff, and he's going for that energy source. That scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was Marvel and Kevin Feige's way of getting us prepared for the next phase of interdimensional threats. And eventually, because like, you know, we're getting introduced to these mythological and like these demony type things, I think, you know, I know that, you know, saying the M word is very you know, dicey stuff, but I think this is Kevin Feige's way of eventually getting us to a Mephisto scenario down the line. I'm not saying it's coming right away, but
I was holding on to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the concept of using like these demonic perceived creatures and making them interdimensional creatures seems like a very scientifically based thing that to make the whole MCU feel real, rather than just being like, oh yeah, it's just dragons. Dragons are real.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But
I get that. But I'm here for it.
All right, Jess, I got a question for you. Are Wang and Abomination working together? And what was that location that they were traveling back to through the Sling Ring portal? And like, why were they even fighting in the first place?
Okay, so I honestly, because we're following the Doctor Strange trailer, we obviously think that's where Wang was going. Wang said, it's winter time. I'm angry at you. I need to get my anger out somehow. So I think he does sparring match with Abomination. That's not Wang's first time being there. Wang gets his anger out in this way. He's a peaceful person. He's meant to be peaceful, but working with Doctor Strange and seeing him in that trailer, he's so tired of him that this is the way that he gets his anger out, is by doing this. And I think him and Abomination, they're not necessarily working together, but I think they're acquaintances and friends. The last time we saw Abomination, he was locked up, right? He got like taken away. So is he getting... Where do you think they are? Because I was immediately like, is he taking him back to his jail cell?
I know, I think that's exactly what's going on here, because Abomination is in the raft this entire time. Abomination has been like, you seal away either through S.H.I.E.L.D. and then like brought to the raft eventually, but like, I think that's where Wang is bringing him straight back to his cell. And like him fighting is sort of him like his like recti. Like maybe this is like their way of showing us that Abomination is getting some type of, you know, therapy and like some type of help, so that when Val comes to him, it's like, hey, I'm forming a team together. He's not this like, oh, he's a murder monster. Why would you freaking approach him? It's like, oh no, he's, you know, he's better. He knows how to work with people. So like now he can be a part of this Thunderbolts or whatever Val's doing.
And I think that's the perfect segue for him showing up in She-Hulk. So that's why I'm like, we need this to confirm that he's not what we saw in 2008 and bring him into She-Hulk. So I think that's what it completely is. I don't think they're like, he's not going to be in Doctor Strange 2 helping Wong. I think it was just like, this is a tad bit. We saw Abomination. He's completely fine there. We're gonna see him in She-Hulk, and we're gonna see him down the line more so.
We do see Bruce Banner at the end of this movie, and like we see him that he's in like a sling, like an arm sling. So like, do you think that Wong could have been doing Bruce a solid and be like, hey man, I know that you usually are the one to fight this man just for fun, but like I'll take him out because you hurt. I'll take him out. We'll have a good time.
I think his arm is in the sling just from when we last saw him from the snap, and I think he's just better at changing back, because it's been a couple of years. He definitely has become in tune with his inner self and has been able to change himself back and forth now, probably. But I would love the idea and the theory that he's like, hey man, tag me in. tag me in. Let me get up in there. I will beat his ass.
I want to think that Wang has bloodlust from his fight with a Cull Obsidian or Black Dwarf. I forget which one in Avengers Infinity War. He's like, I took him down. I took his arm off. So like I could just fight all the big monsters because that's what I do because I'm Wang.
Wang needs to get that energy out, and I stand by it. Steven is being stupid half the time now, and you are just done with it. You've had it up to here. You need to get your anger out in some way. Go fight a
Honestly, that's
monster.
entirely rational. Like, yeah, that's what I would do. I'd be like, you know what, Steven, you're so arrogant and annoying. I need to punch something bigger than myself.
Okay, so we're on to the third one. Where did the rings come from? What tech powered the weapons of the 10 rings? Have we seen it before? And why did the rings set off the alarm bells at Kamar Taj now and not before?
That is the big question.
So, can I say something?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So, if you guys have read the comics, so what issue is it? It's like it's the Iron Man. I always call them by their numbers. I'm sorry, but you guys look it up. It's Iron Man issue 50 where we see the Mandarin for the first time, and then it is revealed that with later issues that he basically found these 10 rings in a ship. And took them. And he took them. And I love that. But there's so much behind it, like how the Maculans were the ones driving the ship. And the Maculan is now just a skeleton dragon. And he was just like, I'm going to take these rings that powered this ship. If we're going with that original theory that the rings came from a Maculan ship, that's there. And I think that's a good one to always go by. But then there's also the Matt Fraction comic books where he basically killed someone and stole the rings from them. And they were a Maculan that was trying to that was needing help. I don't know if we're going to live by those two comic book theories though, because in the movie, they just said it was like the oldest rings of all time.
There's some old ass rings.
There's some old ass rings.
We got them from Claire's.
We got a bundle at Claire's.
Oh my god.
Oh god, stop. Do you think we're gonna go with the comic books original origins, or you think they're gonna make a completely new origin? Because the Matt Fraction one is a little racy with him being like the child of a prostitute that got murdered and then he had to kill the pimp. And then we have the original Stan Lee ones, which are really offensive.
I like how you brought up the McLuhans, and for those of you who don't know, the McLuhans are this where the Fing Fang Foom, all these dragon type beings in the comics they're presented as this like alien race of like dragon type people, and so the 10 rings in the comics come from this McLuhan race, and the Mandarin finds it, he kills the person that originally had it, and then he wears it as rings, and so when you bring up the McLuhans, these rings could easily be a beacon. Yes. Contacting these McLuhan races, like because that's where I think where you're going with that.
Yes.
And like we could be getting more interdimensional threats because of these rings. Because when Wenwu wears the rings, he's receiving a signal from the Dweller in Darkness. But when Shang-Chi uses the rings, he's pushing out a beacon. So, like, there's a difference between push and pull here with these rings. With this beacon being sent out, we're probably going to get the same multiversal interdimensional threats that the Ancient One was like, hey man, if you knew all these threats, you would run away in terror. And like at the end of Doctor Strange 1, Wong says that with the death of the Ancient One, everyone's going to hear about it, and like they're going to come, everybody from different dimensions are going to hear about it and come to our dimension. So this could just be that happening. The beacon's coming out, and the interdimensional threats are coming to the MCU, much like the alien threats came to Marvel Earth after the Tesseract was used.
I need to put these scissors down because yes, you guys, and that's the part that it's like, this is what I was freaking out about with the post-edit scene or the post-credit scene. I was like, they're coming, because even if they were like, you know what, we're not gonna let them come. We're not gonna let them come. If we were going off our own theories, we could theorize that this could be a beacon to the Celestials. Like this could be a beacon to all of them and being like, hey, you guys need to show up now. Like it's time. Like this. What we're opening the door to right now is so important and so good, and I can't wait for dragon people to show up.
Seriously, like this is opening up a huge Pandora's box of just cool ass fucking creatures.
This movie's just so good.
It's so good. I can't wait for what's coming next. We do see at the end of the movie that Hulk is back in his banner form. So like, why is that so? Because in Avengers Endgame, he was like, me and the Hulk, we worked it out. But like now he's fully bruised. So, like, do you think that him and Hulk are not good anymore?
I really want to believe by now he's come better at, like, making sure Hulk comes out and Bruce stays in and, like, doing those things, especially after Endgame. I'm more worried about that arm and that sling because it seems like he can never use it again.
Yeah, he seems pretty hurt. Or, like, maybe Shang-Chi just happens really after Endgame
Right
and, like,
after
he's just still healing up. I think it'd be more fun if, like, the snap just really messed up Hulk. And now he's just like, you know, he just lost control again. Because, like, I love the pure Hulk. Like, Professor Hulk is good, but, like, pure, like, brute, like, oh, bah, 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 I'm going to punch everything. Hulk is where it's at. So, like,
truly.
I think that's, like, teasing, like, that sort of return to original recipe Hulk. But final question of the day, let's talk about our boy Trevor Slattery. Because we haven't seen him since Iron Man 3, and Ben Kingsley knows how to just pull it in a performance. Does Trevor Slattery go back to jail at the end of this, or does he live out his days as the head of the Talo Community Theater, as he should? Because
I definitely think he stays there because he doesn't want to be in prison, and they're probably like, yeah, my dad's dead, and the compound's gone, so I guess you can stay here? And maybe he is doing that. I also think that, like, Morris wouldn't be able to, like, survive without him now. And I'm like,
This is true. They are now one unit.
That scene was also so funny. When that faceless chicken pig came out, and he was like, oh, thank God, you can see him too.
He was like, oh, I thought I was going crazy. Oh, thank the Lord.
Oh my God, we always need a comic relief. We always
Seriously,
need a comic relief, and this was the perfect one.
Like, and how long was he in prison anyway? Like, how long did Wenwu have him? Because was it the All Hail the King short? Like, that was from, like, what, 2013?
That's what I was
like
saying.
2023, 2024. That's 10 years.
I was literally like, he's been in there for like 10 or 15 years.
Like, I wonder if he got blipped too. Like, I wonder if Trevor got blipped.
I doubt it. Knowing him,
hope
his
so.
luck, he did not get blipped.
Honestly, like, if I'm in prison and I got blipped, I'd be like, oh, thank God. Phew.
He just stayed in there not eating.
If he got blipped, I hope Morris went too. Either they both go or none of them go. That's all I want to say. But that is it for this special episode of Inside Marvel. And do not forget to check out our many merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com because these shirts are going fast. You gotta get them. I literally get compliments on my shirt all the time. Please. You can follow me at MasterTainment. You can follow Jessica Clemons at Lulu_Clemons and follow New Rockstars on social media platforms because that's where Tyler does all of his magic.
Oh, so good.
But after you do all that, of course, make sure to hit that notification bell on YouTube so you can get notifications every time we upload a video. And subscribe to Inside Marvel wherever you get your podcasts. And thank you all for watching. We love you all. Goodbye. Shang-Chi is the best. I love me some faceless mythical creatures.
I love a faceless mythical creature pig. Ah!